what's the point when I keep you at a distance? Lover, I'm spent. Lover, I'm broke.
I do sing. Yeah. So like, I used to work as like a youth worker kind of thing, like at the church in Hamilton, and then I stopped because I was studying PR. So I'm looking into that stuff now. But yeah, doing music like more than a hobby, but not like full time.
But you've got so many listeners on Spotify.
You've got like over 500 listeners as well.
Yeah,
that are regular.
trying to.
Do you like push? Do you push your music out?
I could push more. You know what I'm saying? But like,
You're just like, I'm chill. People will come to me.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question, eh? It's probably, I could do more, but I'm like, it's like I'm scared sometimes.
What's scary? I want to know.
But that's why I feel like I need to be around people who are like, nah, you gotta do this.
Yeah,
I love it. Before we get started, because
I thought you already started.
That was good. That was really good. Well, let's just get some
Blooper. Okay.
No.
Do you speak Tagalog, ate?
I can understand. I'm
Bisaya. Kapampangan, pero Tagalog.
Oh, sweet.
That's okay.
Okay, well, if you guys speak it, I'll just ask.
He's English. He's full English.
No, I can understand it, but
He can understand full
True.
Yeah.
I feel like I can understand that one too.
Let's give just people a little bit of context on who you are, what you do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait, can you do that again? I was like slurping while you said that, so your sound was like. Okay, do it again.
That's what I'm saying.
It's authentic, man.
Cool.
It's organic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, foundation on who you are, what you do.
Cool. My name is Shana Graham, and I play music under the name Valere, and it's like electronic, alternative pop. I'm starting to write stuff on guitar now, which is cool. And I'm currently on tour and trying to figure that out. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it all out, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
Where are you touring? Basically,
I
use this as a plug.
Well, yeah. So I've just played a show in Christchurch, playing a show in Auckland. You guys are definitely free to come.
Is that for free?
Yeah.
Free to come.
On record.
Gee, I'll check these on the list. Yeah, come through.
We support artists. We will pay.
We're paying.
We're
This is why we started this shit.
It's part of our kaupapa. We pay for our work. We
are free.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to play in Wellington. We're still
Stay out of Wellington for now. We love Apuniki whānau, but COVID is a thing.
Yeah. So probably not. But then Hamilton again next week.
Yeah.
So what are you touring? You've got the album Colours. Is that what you're touring?
Yeah. So I released that last year, and then just life kind of got in the way, and so I was like, sweet. I wanted to do a tour.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why not?
How do you tour? Like, do you have a band? Like, how big is your crew?
So it's my first tour, so it's like trying to figure it out as I go. But at the moment, I've got 3 people max. Like, so myself, a couple of my friends who play, and then we're just kind of keeping it low key. Going to like really cool spaces that are like creative spaces. So we're playing in Move Space in Dominion Road. I don't know if you guys.
I love Move Space. Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like just places like that, and we're playing in Zeal and Hamilton. So like, I don't know. We're just trying to make it kind of more of an intimate kind of thing, as opposed to like this is a show. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Let's rewind this all right back. So you're a musician, songwriter, singer.
Yeah.
How did you find the passion? How did you find this hobby of yours?
I have no idea. Like,
Is it a
Take us down
feeling?
It's a time
Or
machine.
was it a training?
I feel like it was. I think I always sung when I was a kid, and then
In church?
see.
That was a major assumption on my part.
Hey, I sang at church too, but I wasn't like a. You know, all those like gospel singers are like, I sang at church.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't really like a thing that I did.
Like I sing in the shower.
I just sung Britney Spears and like the dances at parties. You know what I'm saying? Like in Philippines, right? And then I came here and then I sang the choir at school. And then I started kind of getting into songwriting. Probably at year 11, my music teacher gave me a ukulele. She said, just write a song. And I was like,
just write a song?
Okay. And so I just did, I think. And then like she's like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Write another one. And then like she like entered into competitions. And then like the competitions did pretty well. And I was like, oh, this is a thing I could do. And then I went to uni. I'm here. Doing pop music. And then, so I feel like I've always wanted to be a musician, but I think it's changed over the years as to what that looks like.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that because we've been listening to music. It's very vibey, poppy, vibey.
Thanks.
It's a mood.
It's moody, yeah.
It's a mood.
How has that transformed through your experience of finding yourself as a musician?
So like in high school, like I said, I had a ukulele and a guitar. So I was real kind of like singer-songwriter. I use there was like that heyday in YouTube where everyone was like doing covers and stuff, and
Like Taylor Swift coming out era.
Yeah. And then like all these like other like Filipino musicians came out on YouTube, like Melissa Polnar, Gabe Bondoc. I don't know if you guys know them.
I know Gabe Bondoc.
Yeah.
Not very well, but
Yeah, so it was like that era, and so that was the kind of music I made. And then I went to uni, and then they kind of really pushed us out of our comfort zones a little bit. So that's when I started dabbling into like MIDI keyboards and electronic. I don't know why. I just started listening to music like that. And I think that was when Valere was born, because I think at the time it was just going by my name.
Yeah.
And then, so I just wanted to have a different name that was like, was a different to what I was doing before.
can I ask why Valere?
Yeah, because I actually thought that was your last name, and then you introduced yourself to something
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
I was like, oh, yo, Valere is completely...
I'm real confusing on Gmail, but like, but anyway, so Valere, is on the long story or the short story?
Give us the authentic story.
The authentic story. Okay, so
The real one.
The real one. So Valerie is my middle name. So Shana Valerie, and so
That's the short version.
that's the short version. Yeah, if people, they don't have 2 seconds. But I was on my bunk bed at the time because we share rooms and stuff in my family. And I was looking for a name, and I went on this like, do you know those websites that you can put like words in, and then they jumble up the letters? And then
No,
they,
I really
No, I
should
haven't
get
seen
onto
that.
that.
it's like
That's
a
good.
random word generator online. So I put my name, Shana Valerie Magno Yorando, and then it just, And then I was talking to my sister at the time, and I was trying to explain to her what my music was like, and I just got really embarrassed as I went. And I was like, oh man, why do I always feel like I'm not like worthy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like.
So like a bit of like a imposter syndrome? or-
Yeah. It's like, why do I feel like my ideas are always second rate? And then I looked at the website, and there was like Valere, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of like cool, and I looked it up, and then Valere is, I think it's Latin or Spanish or something, Italian, and it was to be worth, and I was like, whoa, this is it, because I was just like, something, it was quite serendipitous, and so I low-key looked it up. There was some Australian guy that was called Valere who didn't really have that many followers, so I was like, that's safe. So I've been Valere ever since. So I think it's funny because I also struggle with it, because that's still a struggle of mine to kind of feel worthy is. Like, that's what I mean. It's like, do you push yourself? I'm like, I could do more. But I think the name helps me to kind of get out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's...
It's supporting you, like coming out of your shell.
Yeah. It's like, it's kind of something, that's why I don't say I'm Valere in a way, because it's like, Valere is this project that is actually helping me, I guess, maybe embody that kaupapa or whatever.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I know like of fighters who have like this alter ego.
Yeah.
And because they've got the alter ego, they're able to like
Perform.
surrender the limiting beliefs as, let's say, it's Marwin.
Yeah.
But because I've got an alter ego called Superman, I know when I'm Superman on that stage, everything that I know of is non-existent anymore. I let go of all those limiting beliefs because I'm not Marwin. I'm able to show up as Superman.
Do you ever feel like you could, because now I'm starting to think, could they be the same person, you know what I'm saying? Like, Beyonce had that Sasha Fierce thing, and then she just became Beyonce. She didn't need Sasha Fierce no more.
Yeah. So, I think there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
I think for the starters, it's good for an escapism.
Yeah.
While maybe you are battling through that imposter syndrome, then ultimately when you've built up enough evidence that, hey, I am Superman, hey, I am Valere. You can just show up as that every single day.
Yeah.
Because that's the point, right? Because at the moment when you start, it's who you want to be.
Yeah, that's right. That's
and
right.
then ultimately, when you've built up enough evidence that you are Valere and all the characteristics that's around that, ultimately you will embody that.
Yeah.
I think it's also like self-protection and like preservation. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've watched enough like TED Talks or like panels with like different celebrities or like big names where they're like, for example, for an actor, a lot of people say the thing of like, I'm not an actor, I act. Like I am not like, you know, because there's so many self-deprecating things that come along, especially in the arts, of like, are you really an actor when you go to auditions and don't even get it? Like, how can you call yourself an actor when you're not getting paid as an actor?
Right.
Like, and you know, that was what my imposter syndrome was when it came to being an artist.
Wow.
I was like, even though my entire life is in the creative industry, I still struggle to like back myself up. Like, I'm an actor. I'm a producer. Because I'm like, well, my bills are covered by like 7 different things, not just an actor, not just as a producer.
Yeah.
So then I'm able to like look after my mental health and well-being. So I'm not judging myself for not fulfilling one role.
Yeah.
When I know I actually am more than just that one role.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But then it's the same as what you were saying. Like as soon as I felt like I was doing enough as an actor, then I was like, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
So now when I fill in those forms in the plane, you know, when you get off, I actually sometimes just I'm a creative.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to just jump in there, is that, it's important not to box yourself in that as well. Because for me, if I always just say I'm a personal trainer, and then one day that gets taken away from me, what's left? Am I really? You know? Don't want to identify as this role.
I think,
As people, we're bigger than that. You know?
And I think that's the beautiful thing about the arts, though, is the humanity and like the nuance that we bring into our roles, right? Like, I 100% was thinking, I was like, I'll just let you finish doing that because you're making noise. That's okay. But no, I was thinking about like, do I need an alias? Do I need another name to use as like my performer name? Like, you know how Marilyn Monroe's real name's not actually Marilyn Monroe. Did you know that?
No, I did not know.
I don't know her real name.
surprised.
Yeah. But also like makes it like Lady Gaga.
Heaps of people like that though.
Yeah, like Lady Gaga is like Stephanie something. That's really bad. I love Lady Gaga, but I know her as Lady Gaga. But like, you know, but then I was just like, that thing you were talking about, like separating, or can they be the same person? I was just like, Marianne in the arts is Marianne in everyday life for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm as outspoken and as bold and as tenacious in my creative work as I am
As in real life.
when I hang the laundry. You know, like, so I was just like, well, no, I don't think I need one. And also just because my name has gone through so many transitions, like from Marianne, because I lived in Christchurch and no one could say Marianne, to then being like, to being Marianne. I was like, okay, everyone just needs to learn how to say it. So I was like, so my association with name is a little different, I suppose.
So turning it back to you, how's it been with your own discovery of your own character in this experience of being a creative?
Being Valere.
I think that's like, honestly, it's been like a massive ass conversation, like from the beginning of Valere to like now. Like I'm always like second guessing. Well, I'm saying, you're right, exploring. Like I talked to like my husband.
It's a nicer way to put it.
Yeah, I'm positive talk.
Be kind,
Positive talk.
yes.
Yeah. But I'm like, because a lot of the time I think with the Valere thing, it was more a practical thing because I had maybe more of a following under my real name, but it was a very different type of music, and so I was like, I just want to kind of
It's a good way to change gear.
Yeah, but now that I'm doing this stuff, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm haunted by what Valere stands for because I don't embody that yet, or like I'm starting to, or whatever. It's a challenge, as opposed to like, I don't know.
So
why
like
I
a
always
goal?
Like I always feel uncomfortable sometimes because like on stage I'll be like, hi, I'm Shana. This is Valere. And it's like, what? My husband's like,
Mira,
just
I'm
say,
confused.
just say I'm Valere. And I'm like, because I always think of Valere as like a project, you know, like it's something that's outside of me as Shana. Because I feel like I do want to, in some ways, separate my music. Because maybe it's a similar thing, but I'm like, people always knew me as a musician and a singer. But I'm like, there was a time where I was like, I don't just like sing.
Yes, yeah.
I don't just like, I'm a person, right? So it's like, I felt like I wanted to claim my name as just, I'm just Shana actually. But Valere is this thing that I do when I do music.
Yeah.
Like that's the artist, do you know what I mean?
I completely understand
That's
that.
absolutely valid in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Like safe or secure.
Yeah, for me, because I have a company called Rise, and it's a health and self-development platform, but I'm not the face of that.
Yeah.
You know, Rise is the values that it upholds.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the face of it, because one day I might want to walk away, and Rise will still go. You know, that is the point of it.
And that's similar with TKC, and like the reason we wanted to stick with, well, it took us ages actually to find this name, but the reason we wanted to stick with Te and Kuya was because I mean, we both come at this like topic from different points of views, but I was like, for me, this space and platform is like for the like Filipino like tuakana in the arts industry who has supported us as well, like Kuya James, Kuya David, and like, you know, Sarah Naisha, who was also in the same acting school as us. It's like everyone who can come into this platform and basically do what we want to do, which is empower other Filipinos.
Yeah.
You know, and in a way, it's collaborative because it's not just for Filipinos.
Yeah.
It's for people to come into and discover Filipino values, Filipino culture, Filipino joy. And we are ates and kuyas. And also, we're in New Zealand, and I think at the same time we are definitely exploring what it means to be Filipino in New Zealand. Right?
When did you come to New Zealand?
I moved here when I was 2000 and like end of 2000. So like 31st of December 2000.
Yeah. Whoa!
Oh, wow.
Just like
wow.
Yeah.
And because you've been a creative for what you said most of your life, what nuances do you see, like the similarities of the, you know, creative music industry in Philippines and New Zealand?
Ooh, well, I've only sort of discovered it now because I don't think I was super involved. Like I only knew like the pop kind of industry, and like I think I had a very limited view of what creativity was in the Philippines because like you grew up with just like the TV shows, you know, like it was a lot about
that was media, you know.
Yeah, like it was a lot of American stuff. It was a lot of like I don't know, those types of shows that are on like in the middle of the day, and it's like that's where you aspire to be like a host or something or like whatever, right? So it's like all these things, or like Britney Spears. It's like that's who I grew up with, right? And then I come here and it's like completely different because I think they value a lot of like creativity, DIY, like kind of alternative types,
like local talent.
Yeah, which is cool. And I feel like I've really struggled a little bit because I'm a pop kid at heart, I think. But I've come into this kind of country where it's like DIY, and I've learned a lot about how to do creativity here. But it's like I almost feel like I don't belong either wherever. But in saying that, like I think I visited the Philippines in 2018, and I met some really cool creatives there. It's Tutu Tango Records in Cebu. Shout out to them. They're really awesome, just like cool local kind of independent label, and they had really awesome artists. I met so many different musicians, and like I've kind of kept in touch with them. And now looking at that and looking at their trajectory and the kind of music that's actually there in the Philippines, there's a lot of really awesome like local, really cool alti bands.
And would you say that sort of like inspired you to do some of that work here?
I think, well, I feel like that visit made me appreciate that I was Filipino and accept. Well, because like I think before that I was trying really hard to be something else. Do you know what I mean? Like
we definitely know what you mean. You're on the right table.
Yeah, like because like in the Philippines I was wanting to be American. Like I wanted to be like this pop star, right? And then I come here and it's like, I want to be like, I don't know, it was just a similar thing, but kind of probably a different like persona or whatever. And I always felt really ashamed of being Filipino because I didn't feel like I was progressing really anywhere. You know, and so, but when I went back and then I just saw, I kind of like rediscovered my own culture. I mean, I still have a lot to learn, but like, I was like, dang, man, this is where it comes from. Like, this is the reason why I like ballads, because I grew up with ballads.
Good with ballads.
Yeah, do you mean like
Celine Dion, Whitney
hard.
Houston, hello.
And I'm like, I don't have to be ashamed about that because like I always thought that it was something that wasn't really like cool here, which I don't think it is actually still. But I'm like, I don't care. Like,
well, like
you know what I mean?
To like resonate with your points there, like again, the reason we made TKC is exactly because of that, because we were like discovering, like, are we Filipino enough? Like what does it actually mean to be Filipino? And I mean, like, similar to sort of like how Kuya and I found each other was like we worked on a show together that we both understood that feeling of not belonging or wanting to be something else. I mean, Kuya can talk about how like his upbringing, but I was just like, when I was growing up, especially more when I moved to Auckland, I really wanted to be Māori. Just because I was just like, despite all the struggles and you know, fight for space and sovereignty to be acknowledged, you know, by the people of New Zealand. It was like the te ao Māori, or the values, or, you know, tikanga Māori was so respected. Well, I respect that so much.
Yeah.
And I fully, you know, believe in you know, the work and the foundation that, you know, mana whenua has done for this country. So to see that, I really wanted to have that community.
Yeah.
But then we did Penai together. Penai.
So you guys did...
Yeah. So when we did Penai together, I was like, oh, we're just as Filipino. Like, it's just how we define that is we're all within our rights to define how to be Filipino, because there's no one way. Like, this guy thought he was Kiwi.
Yeah, I thought I was just Samoan. You know, I told myself that I was, you know, Samoan, and then also said that I was Kiwi, and to be honest, I just never grew up with Filipino friends. So it was something that I like blinded myself by.
When did you move here? Like
when I was 5 years old, 1998.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and so I just chose to blind shot that because no one else was Filipino. So why would I want to be myself? You know.
Yeah.
But as a 28-year-old, almost 29, I'm growing up to actually really love that and love it because there are other people who like the same things that I do that are also Filipino.
Yeah.
So. I just learned so much more about others and my own self-development and my culture when I'm talking about it, like right now.
Yeah.
So that's what brought me to this table, to this company.
Awesome, man.
My question is, what is Valere's essence? Like, what gets you writing? What is the fire within? Like, what motivates you to write your songs?
Well, I think again it comes back to the name for me. Because that has been the struggle, is to figure out, like, am I worth, you know, like...
The platform, the space.
Yeah, like, am I worthy? Like, and so I think I remember, like, when I was starting out, like who was I making this music for, you know what I mean? And I was making it for people like me that are, like, you know, like, young girls that are, like, kind of quiet or whatever. Although I've found out I'm not that quiet actually, but just like, but just a kind of like...
You're Filipino, of course you're not quiet.
I thought I was, oh my gosh, this is like a complete revelation, honestly. But I was like, just people who weren't self-assured or whatever, you know? Because, I mean, obviously, like, I write when I have experiences and I have to process. So it's been something for me to process what's happened, you know, in my life. But I think a lot of the time when I look back, because a lot of the time when I write, I don't know what the songs are about until the end. Yeah. So I'm just like, oh, that's what I was going through.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, because I'm an external processor. So, like, I don't know. Like, I feel stuff, and then I'm like, I just write or whatever, and then I'm like, oh.
And that's your process to discovery.
You're okay. So, like, but, like, a lot of the themes come from just being like, hey, you're like, you are worthy. And so it's just, and I think, to be honest with you, when I play shows and stuff, like, a lot of the time, the people that come up to me are people like me, who are like young musicians, who are like women predominantly, who come up to me and they're like, hey, that was really awesome. I didn't know that I could do that. Like, to write songs that are simple, because I write simple songs, but like, just like reassuring them, they're like, oh, I do that. I can do that. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, like, and so I feel like those people are definitely the ones I think about when I'm like performing or writing. Not intentionally, because I don't want it to be like this social justice thing sometimes where I'm like, because it's a lot of pressure.
I feel you.
Right?
Yeah.
But like, I've just found organically that like people who need that like
some background music,
like who need that reassurance that they can actually do, like, you don't have to have all the bells and whistles, but you can just be yourself
and start.
Yeah. And so
learn along the way.
Yeah, because like I definitely am, like, I fall into the simplicity kind of, like, you know, and you can like break it down to all these things, like even like my sort of journey with production, or like, because I was like, I'm not a good producer or whatever, like, I'm, you know, but actually you can, like, there aren't any rules.
So if you had one advice, and if you can look at the people watching this video, what's the one advice you would give to young, aspiring musicians? Look them in the camera. Look in the camera and tell them. What's your one advice?
Well, I would say, I don't know if it's advice, but I would reassure them that there's no one like you.
That's
so
great.
There's actually, like, you can just be who you are. And you have a voice, because regardless of what you do, no one's going to do it the same way that you do it. So, like, yeah, like, your voice is worth to be listened to.
Yeah.
I totoko that so hard. 100%. Yeah.
It sucks, because if you don't, then I'm like, I won't ever hear something, like, it's not going to enrich the world.
And people are always like, oh, you got to find your voice. Like, as a maker, you got to find your voice.
You already got it, G.
Yeah, literally. People like, you have a voice. You just need people to listen.
Yeah.
And for people to listen, you got to take space and do it so people will listen to you. So you just got to do it.
What's your experience like navigating, the business side of being a creative?
Oh man, I'm still navigating.
It's one thing to be passionate about something, it's another to make money out of it.
Like practicality.
Absolutely. Because I think you said this to me before, it's like passion without practicality is just feelings. And feelings don't get you paid.
Yeah.
Feelings get you exploited.
Yeah.
In one perspective, yes. Karen, but you.
I think it depends.
Let's cut that out. That wasn't nice. Do that again.
Well, I think it depends on people. Like, it depends on what you want out of, because I definitely am still navigating that. I'm still trying to figure it out. Especially now that we're, like, my husband and I are, like, expecting like a baby. Yeah.
Oh my God!
We're saying just like a high-waisted,
Shit.
Is this like your first public?
Oh no, I've said it to people. Hey man, it's probably on video.
I felt I was feeling really special until.
Hey, especially
Congratulations!
Thank you very much.
Gee.
So it's
I'm still buzzing it. Sorry.
Because now that's the thing. So it's like, oh, okay, we need to make money.
You need to feed a person.
Yeah. So it's because I think when I was obviously like just single and stuff, I was like, sweet, I can just like do this. I didn't have the. It's funny now that we're starting a family, the drive has come. Mm-hmm. I thought, to be honest with you, that I was like, I have to do this before I have a family.
Yeah.
Or else, because I just had this like internal voice like, you have to be responsible. Art is not responsible.
Would you say that's because now you have a purpose or a different purpose?
Yes, and also I've just been lucky to have a husband that's a creative as well, and he is very
What does he do?
He's a
it's not about him, but filmmaker.
He's a filmmaker. He's like also just all round amazing creative, and so he's very supportive. Like he's very like, oh yeah, sweet, and I'm like,
he gets it.
Yeah, but I'm like, I just kind of grew up being like, are you sure? Like, it's okay. Yeah. So I think like I'm looking into avenues of trying to figure out how to like make money without compromising my, I guess, artistic kind of values.
Yeah. Creative integrity.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, but like at the same time, I don't know. It's trying to decide those things, and that's what's the difficult thing. I would love to hear how you guys do it, because I feel like, yes, well, tell me.
How do I do it?
Yeah, you do.
From wiping butts. Well, no. I nanny. I babysit.
Yeah.
I do what I do, if I need to go into teaching and just so I can earn money and impart wisdom somehow. I will never give any artist shit for taking on jobs that will pay their bills.
Yeah.
Because like survival, like necessities, like feeding yourself, having a roof over your head is what allows you to be creative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're in a safe environment, then you can make.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're just running, you can't make.
Yeah.
When you feel like you're just keeping your head above water, you can't.
Nice.
You can't survive.
You can't
so
create.
so I'm like, if a person is the classic like sellout people, I'm just like, no mate, like he needed a house, or that person needed to pay for rent.
Yeah.
You have a child to feed, because it's not just about you anymore.
Yeah.
And that is called parenting. So, and I have a lot of respect for people who do the hustle, because the hustle is hard, man.
That's true. Yeah, and like that's probably why I was in the beginning. I was like, I'm not like a full-time user, because I need to find something that I can make money without having to. It's that kind of balance, right? Because yeah, you're right. I totally agree. Like I don't want to compromise this thing or Valere, because if I put pressure on that making like my main income, I'm gonna just like crumble and like do.
And you're not making in a place of joy.
Nah,
Because you're like, this needs to be, this has to get all the views, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like you don't do it organically. So I'm like, I don't have a problem with like doing work that's like completely unrelated.
Yeah, because it's driven by a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a detour, it's still heading to the right
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, because we don't want to make this video too long. This is not going to be part of the recording. I want to try a quick fire session.
Okay, cool.
So I'll ask you questions and you have to answer them either one word or just like plain factual. Okay. Where are you performing in Auckland?
Move space.
Okay, it doesn't have to be that far.
That's what you said though. You fool.
Okay, wait, let's introduce this. We need an introduction. Okay, well, I need to...
You played by the rules.
No,
and then
but
you
like,
changed
I
it.
need to explain it to the viewers because otherwise it doesn't make sense when we cut it. Okay, guys, we're going to do a quick fire session with Ate Shana / Valere. Okay, where are you doing your show in Auckland?
Move space. I'm supposed to like go really slow.
In your album, Colors?
Yeah.
What is your favorite song?
Undercover.
And is that the same song you think people should, if they have to listen to one song, should it be that song?
Nah.
Okay, what's the song people should listen to?
You should listen to Stick Around.
Stick Around, because that's how you stick around.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really bad. Keep that.
I think you should keep it.
Where else are you touring?
Hamilton.
Yep.
And at the moment, that's it.
Cool. Where can people find tickets?
Under the radar. If you look up Valere Chroma tickets or Chroma tour.
Yeah. I'll also put it in the show notes here, so just follow the link.
How can people connect with you?
On Instagram, Valere Music, and Spotify. Just look up Valere as well. See, it's just me on the photo. And Facebook as well, Valere Music.
Cool. And random question: where in the Philippines did you come from?
Cebu.
Yeah. And you can speak Bisaya.
Yep. I'm proud, man.
Okay.
I love Bisaya.
It would be really awesome if you can introduce yourself in Bisaya.
Oh my gosh.
Can you do it? No pressure. I mean, we don't understand, so none of us, we don't speak Bisaya.
I could say my name is Shana. Is that like?
Yeah. That's an introduction.
I guess. So do you want like an actual like intro like?
I don't know if he might use it, he might not. He's the one cutting it.
This is authentic.
Bro, no cutting. Yeah. Fa. Akong pangan kay Shana. I flip. That's all I have.
That's more than me in Bisaya.
More than me. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to meet another creator.
Yeah.
And someone
you guys are cool.
Thank you.
Let's have that in writing.
Hard, honestly. This is really cool.
Awesome.
No, thank you for being in our space and thank you for joining the TKC. Well, it was now a TKC whānau.
You're our first one.
You're our very first one.
Oh, mean.
Absolutely. So it's an absolute honour and we wish you and Valere all the best.
Cool.
See
Thank
you
so
and
much.
every one of you at the concert.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.
What's the point when I keep you at a distance? Lover, I'm spent.